Content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live. 888-994-4995. Studio A.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. So last week you probably were like, I've heard this one before. Well, that's probably because it was a repeat. Why was it a repeat? Because you can never know what's going to happen in life on a daily basis. Last week, I wasn't feeling too good on Tuesday. Decided that I was not going to go to the hospital because, don't get me going on healthcare in the United States, because I am definitely thinking that this is just something that's very frustrating for me personally. And that is, if you go into a doctor and you give them your health insurance, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars. And if you tell them you're self-pay, it's always cheaper. So I did everything I could to not go to the hospital, but in the end, I ended up with an emergency appendectomy. So I'm here today and ready to talk with Josh Weisman about all different kinds of things in the real estate industry. He is with Title Brothers, so welcome, Josh.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I heard that you're no longer a single bachelor anymore.
That is true. Yeah,
Oh.
we couple weeks in, so.
Oh, okay, so
yeah.
everything's still good. Let's talk to him next week.
Yeah, everything's right. Everything's still good.
I'm just joking. I've never met your wife. I apologize. Don't get all offended.
Yeah, but no, it was good, and yeah, just right back to the grind.
All right. Well, congratulations
Thank you.
on your nuptials.
Appreciate it.
So there's a lot going on in the real estate industry, and one of the things is, and of course am I allowed to say bitching on the radio?
You can say whatever you want. It's your show.
Beep. About health insurance, which is a nightmare, but also talking about insurance in general. I know you're on the title side. I know you have a lot to do with mortgages and insurance as well.
Yeah.
So that's why you've now changed your name to
Trace Group.
Trace Group. I don't speak Spanish well.
You try. I don't either, by the way.
So,
but
you came up with it.
Right, accidentally,
Yeah.
actually. So, yeah, to that point, our umbrella company is called the Trace Group, which actually stands for Tiger Real Estate Solutions Group.
Oh wow.
Adam, my partner, and I are both like big golf fans, sports fans in general. It was Tiger Woods, big golf fans. We're like, okay, it kind of sounds like, and we figured we could put like the little tiger paw print logo as the thing. But then I said to him, it kind of sounds too long.
Right.
So then, I don't pretend to be creative at all, and I was playing out with the initials Tiger Real Estate Solutions, and it was Trace, and half of South Florida now speaks Spanish, and we went with it. And Trace is the three services, for those of you who don't speak Spanish.
I knew that at least.
But in our office now, we have completed the one-stop shop. So we have a title company and law firms. That's the legal umbrella, and then lending, and then insurance. So
okay, so let's do a little bit of talk about insurance
Yeah.
today. So I've seen that a lot of insurance companies are kind of not writing a lot. Come June 1, we're going to be in hurricane season.
Right, yeah.
So that's a big deal. So a lot of people will step back from writing during that time. Typically, I think it's a little more expensive for insurance during that time. I think, though, a lot of people are under a misconception that once your roof hits 10 years of age, because there's people out there like sending out flyers to people saying if your roof's over 10 years of age, you can't get insurance. And we want to take today that the misconception is you can get insurance.
For sure.
Don't listen to what you hear all the time, because it's not always factual, and it's really making things difficult.
Yeah, and I don't pretend to be the insurance expert. One day maybe we can have Louis Perna, who's our president of the insurance company, come on. But just from all the businesses, I definitely know that 10 years is actually really not that old. I think a lot of carriers will write the insurance as long as it's less than like 20,
Okay.
20, 25. Some roofs have useful.
So I wouldn't even say,
Yeah.
for me personally as an agent, that I've been doing this for 22 years,
You actually have a
almost
better
23.
rule to go by, actually.
Right. So over the years, way before this was ever an issue, roofers would always say you have 25 years of life on a tile roof.
Right.
They would say 30 actually, like
Yeah,
when
30,
it first started.
right.
Then all of a sudden they changed to 25, but that's not really the answer.
It's more about the useful life left.
Correct.
Right.
Right. And I think people need to understand
Yeah.
what that means. So you could have a roof that's 30 years old. If somebody comes on there, and let's just say when they put that roof on 30 years ago, they did a double modified paper underneath the roof before putting, because the tile is cosmetic. The tile is not
Right.
what is holding the house together.
Right.
That tile is really, it is a protective layer of the
Yeah, but it's more the
of the
look,
paper,
yeah.
right? But it is right. So it's there to protect it. That's why if there's cracked tiles, they say water gets in, it intrudes, and it sits on the paper. So
For sure. And to that point, yesterday I was with Louis, who is the president of Legacy Insurance Advisors, our insurance company, and he did say yesterday, like, it's a key thing that he's telling a whole group of realtors, if the useful life is less than 3 years, then
Yeah.
you should probably just like go look for another property. And I mean, unless someone wants to, they want to negotiate
Now-
to fix the roof,
but let's talk about
Yeah.
opinions, right?
of course, yeah.
So I can have one person come out and look at my roof,
For
and
sure.
they're going to say it's got 3 years of life.
Yep.
Now I can have another person. So I think it's also about whoever's inspecting it, what they're willing to put under their name.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Some people are very conservative. It's like an appraisal. So if you go and have an appraisal on your house, and I just had this happen, where one appraisal came in at 1.4,
Right.
and a second one on the same house from a different person, because an opinion is an opinion, right? There is some scientific facts to it, right? But they came back with 1.5.
Yeah, it's not as easy as just like numbers or mortgage. It's not black
Right.
and white.
I
yeah.
could have a roofer go out and look at a house, and I think that they have more of an underlying thought that they want is to fail a roof. I had
Right.
one recently where a roofer came out, told my client that there's no useful life left, it's failed. He did a couple of repairs, and the inspector came out and said, there's 10 years of life left on this. So explain this to me. Like,
Yeah, I mean, maybe they want the job, right, of putting
a new roof on.
of putting a new roof on, but I don't. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, it's definitely opinion based, and the only thing I do know is that right now there is this whole idea that people can't get insurance, but I think it's really important to know like who you're dealing with. Like, there's a lot of brokers out there that are just like quote machines, and they just give you quotes. And like yesterday, for example, we had someone that had a renewal for $31,000 in the private market, right? It's a pretty nice home on the intercoastal, but they wanted it to be AOR'd and changed over to us. So we looked at it. We realized that it could actually fit the replacement cost estimate. The actual number could fit in Citizens. So then,
which is under $1 million
right, and so we were able
in
to
Broward.
Yeah, and so we were able to get it in Citizens and basically got it for them for 18 grand instead of 31,000, which is a big savings.
Right.
So, but yeah, one of our partners has 30 plus years of experience, so we were able to have all the appointments, all the carriers necessary, and a lot of carriers are not giving out new appointments anymore. So
Right.
it's a big problem.
And so I do want to talk about, because something that just recently happened here was the huge floods that we had.
Yeah.
One of my mortgage companies just called me and asked me if I was in a disaster area. They said I am in a disaster area,
Yeah.
which my property wasn't. But I want to go to commercial, but when we come back, I want to talk about flood insurance, something that I never really paid attention to till after talking with people. And there's some things that I think that you guys out there really need to know about flood insurance. and some of your options. So when we come back, if you have any questions, you can call us when we come back at 1-888-994-4995. Ask us any questions you have about insurance. If you're having trouble with your roof, you're having trouble getting insurance, give us a call because we can definitely help you. And this is one of the ways you could be making money with Laura. When we come back.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
At Title Brothers LLC, our mission is to give you the best closing experience anywhere in the country. Founded in 2020 by Adam Lohman and Josh Weisman, here at Title Brothers, we're your one-stop shop for residential real estate, title insurance, title and escrow services, real estate closing, and due diligence services. While primarily located in South Florida, we also host dozens of closings throughout the state and even electronically as requested. To contact the Title Brothers, call us at 954-995-4988 or visit our website and get a quick quote today.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at thelaurazell.com. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. So we're talking about insurance. I was bitching about health insurance, but we're talking about homeowners insurance and what's going on with the industry. This is kind of out of control, but I don't want you guys to worry when you're trying to buy a house, or if you're an agent and you're trying to get your client a house. Like there's things that you sometimes need to do. It's like going to a doctor, get a second opinion. Sometimes they say there's only 3 years of life left on a roof. That's an opinion. That's not always the case. So what I wanted to talk, we have Josh here with Title Brothers, and he's definitely involved in the insurance industry. And what I wanted to talk about is what recently happened in Fort Lauderdale. Even if you're not in Fort Lauderdale, you're getting calls from that New Yorker just came out, Fort Lauderdale. Where did that come from? Oh my gosh. You're getting calls from your mortgage holders asking you if you're in a
Flood zone.
If you're in a disaster area right now. I just got a call today for one of my mortgages, and they were asking me, is everything okay? I'm like, no, I'm totally fine. My property is in Coral Springs, like it's fine. Mm-hmm. But for friends of mine that live in Fort Lauderdale and their houses were severely damaged, a lot of people don't understand the difference between flood insurance and water coverage. It's two totally different things. So let's make sure that you understand. First, flood insurance is when water comes from like nature, like rain, or water's coming from, can't be from your sprinkler system. Like that's water damage. Mm-hmm. It can't be from your washer on the second floor coming through the ceiling. That's water damage. And most of these policies today are only having $10,000 in water coverage, if any at all. So these are
Laura
things to
seems
understand.
like the insurance master, actually.
I've been doing this for a really long time. So, so it's like a lot of times, like I'm trying to tell clients, like they're like, well, there's no water coverage on this. I go, well, guess what? It's shrinking, like the number of people that are writing, it's shrinking, right? And come June 1st, it's gonna shrink even more because we're gonna be in hurricane season till the end of November. Yeah. We all sit there and we go, can we get out of this already? Right. Hope there's no named storms with the name Laura. Yeah. I think we had that last year. So flood insurance, first thing I found out is that it doesn't cover hotel stay or to go live somewhere else once your home's been damaged. So you don't know the answer to that, and I don't know the answer to that, but I do know this. We need to figure out what are we going to do if we're in this situation. FEMA did not help out these people. Mm-hmm. We have people that we have to think about even like the health ramifications for these people. The mold that these people are living in because they have nowhere else to go. So this is something that is definitely a big deal right now. Not only is flood, what I learned, you could have a $2 million house And guess what your flooding is going to cover? $250,000. So your other insurance isn't going to cover anything. You have nowhere to live, and you're only going to get $250,000.
Yeah.
Homeowners pick up the contents and the flood pick up the flood repair?
They haven't been, because you have to prove that it was one of the things that your insurance would cover for. So, for instance, a lot of people come from other states, and I don't even know why this is from other states, but this has been my experience in the 22 plus years I've been doing this, is that when people say to me, oh, well, the roof is 23 years old, and they come from, like, let's say Massachusetts, they're like, okay, well, if something happens, insurance will cover it. No. Insurance is going to ask, when you go to make that claim, they're going to ask you, okay, what day did this happen? They're going to look. They can tell you on that day how fast winds were going on that specific day. They know how fast the winds are going. They know what was going on that day, how much precipitation that we had that day. Like, they know. And when the winds don't go a certain speed, you're not covered. So there was nothing going on but rain. That's clearly flood. Now, one thing I did learn, because I had a client that was buying a multi-million-dollar property, you can buy a supplemental flood policy.
Yes.
It's not expensive. I want to say another $1 million was like $800.
Have to check.
That
with
might
Lewis.
change next week. So guys, just know this too, that if you are covered by Citizens, they're looking to change the situation now. And they're looking to now put that you're going to need flood insurance with that policy, whether you're in a flood zone or not, and they're going to be raising the rates of flood. Do we have any kind of data on that yet? Have you seen anything?
It's going to be within a certain amount of miles, like from the coast, that they're going to require it. But even if they are going to be raising their premiums over the summer, but it's still going to be substantially less than the private market and the private carriers.
Now, normally we don't talk about mortgage.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about it in the sense of flood. So if flood, right, all these condos that are on the water, right, tell me how, now that the buildings are not going to have flood insurance anymore, because it's getting expensive, right? So how are they going to, like, how is that going to affect the people that live in the building? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, each building person's going to have their own flood insurance.
Yeah, so it's just not going to be, you're saying because it's not going to be with the association.
Right,
You have
so
to get your own.
typically when you're in a flood zone,
Right.
when you live in a condo, the condo covers,
escrow,
and for mortgage purposes,
Right.
you have to provide. So is mortgage lending changing when it comes to this whole thing now?
Well, it's,
This is new.
Yeah, it's still going to
And
be.
it's starting to change.
If they need to get their own, it's just going to have to be included in their
Insurance,
approval process.
But, right,
yeah, for
but
their.
what I'm saying is like, what will that look like for people, like when you're on the water? Have you seen this yet?
The rates, or
Yeah, like, is it going to be $800 per person?
that I'm not sure. It's a new thing. I think they're actually going to. I think it's maybe June 1st that they're getting into some of this stuff.
Oh, where they're separating out?
Yeah,
And the
it's
policies?
sooner than later. Yeah, I was overhearing some of that now, but it's. We'll find out soon. I don't know 100%.
So we'll come back to you on that, because I think that as realtors, you know, we have two people listening, right? We have realtors listening that are just kind of wondering what I'm talking about, and then we have people that are, you know, interested in becoming realtors or in the industry or somewhere, they're mortgage brokers. This is all important information for all of us, and this is changing the world every day, and things are getting super expensive. And you know, for me, like as a realtor, I want to know what position am I putting my clients in, that I'm putting them on the intercoastal or I'm putting them on the ocean? Like what is the ramifications to the client? Like, I want to know. So even I'm trying to learn every day. Like, I learn something new every day. And I've been doing this for a really long time. And I'm curious to know what this is going to do for them. So, you know.
Renting on the ocean. The condo is everything on the outside, right? Your contents are inside.
So you would always, so if you're renting, right?
Yeah, rental insurance.
You would
but
get,
renter's
you'd get
insurance.
renter's insurance. So that would pretty much cover anything, whether it was, you know, a flood from, if you're on like the 8th floor, it's kind of interesting, right? How does flood, to me, I would think eventually, like, remember, like if there's too much water coming, right, eventually it's going to collapse the building, like, and then everything's going to come down. If enough water, I mean, we haven't seen this yet, but we've never seen what happened at Surfside.
Right.
We have, this is a 100-year flood, they said, but I think it's really the second time that they've seen what happened in Fort Lauderdale. What happened, obviously,
that was crazy.
a month
I was
ago.
driving out of the office one day, because our office is Las Olas.
I heard people couldn't even get out of the offices.
And my good thing I have an SUV. As I was driving, because at that point I was like, oh my God, do I go back to the office? But there were dozens of cars that were stuck in the water, and yeah, my car got through. So.
Well, so it's funny, not funny, but it's kind of interesting that you said that, because I had a home inspection the next day, and the wife shows up and we're like, oh, where's your husband? And she's like, he's still at the office and can't get out.
Yeah.
And it was down off of Las Olas.
Yeah.
So you must have left.
Oh no, it was like there were feet of water. I just.
So if you were parked in a building, it was fine, right? But the people that were on the streets,
yeah, but then
they were done.
getting from Las Olas to 95, just like those couple streets were. If I didn't have a big car, I would have got stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like, what do they call this? The 100 mile, like the 100-year flood.
Right.
So,
yeah, it was. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
But I feel like everything makes us more cautious on everything we do.
Yeah.
Does Josh, you help find insurance? What's the three things that you do?
For
The new company, the Trace. So right, you've got three
Yeah,
pillars that
so
you work
we-
with.
So we have, so Adam, my partner, and I, we founded all the companies together. We're attorneys, and we own Title Brothers, which is a title company to specialize in real estate closings. And we have other attorneys that also work for us. We have 4 attorneys on staff. And then Dr. Mortgage is a lending company, and Legacy Insurance Advisors is the insurance company. So we do legal, lending, and insurance. So anything for someone like Laura, if she's doing residential or commercial real estate, we do the 3 things and everything to help Laura close a deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I said, insurance is something that is getting a little hairy right now. And
Happen though, if less policies are being written, Citizens is capping you at $750.
well, that's in, so, okay, so let's clarify that. So Palm Beach is $750, Broward is $1 million, and Miami is 1.1. So it's just like FHA. So every time you keep moving a little more north, things get a little less expensive. I won't use the word cheap, a little less expensive. So like FHA guidelines in Miami are gonna be more than if you were in Broward. And they're gonna be a little less as you get to Palm Beach, which is kind of funny because have you seen those homes in Palm Beach? Like,
I was just about to say.
I was like,
And
this doesn't
Boca
make-
prices have gotten crazy too.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny, so a lot of times when I have clients who are like, oh, I want to live in Boca, I'm like, okay, well, when you see that really nice house that looks so cheap and you send it to me, make sure it doesn't have a membership buy-in.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some really nice ones. So.
Yep.
So we're almost running out of time. Any last questions? Anybody wants to call in that has any questions about insurance? We definitely can help guide you in this process to make sure that you're able to get the home that you love without getting stuck with thinking that the roof, like a lot of times I have realtors, well, they're trying to argue, oh, it's only got this. Well, that's not always the case. And sometimes just by fixing a roof can really give it a whole much more life. So.
Do you still offer that plan where you help people with no extra
Yep.
money to sell their house?
Yeah, so right now what I'm doing is 0%. I will help you. Obviously, we write a little bit of a mortgage on the house, but we will help you 0% if we're selling the house for you to fix your home up. We actually have a client right now that we're doing that for her, and I can't wait to see the end result again. So we'll show you before and after pictures. But yes, we have 0% helping you fix up your home so you can get top dollar for your house. So I want to thank everybody today for listening to Making Money with Laura. We want to help you make money. We want to help you get through the real estate industry and every little intricate piece that kind of springs out from it to make some money. So give me a call at 954-650-0827. And if you need Josh for any of his services, you can give Josh at
561-901-0770.
Thanks everybody and have a great night.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing you next.